So I don't necessarily think that it is that reptilian survival brain that necessarily causes that, because in animals, they just go back to baseline after that. So what do
Yeah.
you think it is in humans that causes us to have so much suffering?
Well, we become very attached to our consciousness as egos. And we are self-aware creatures. Some people may argue we're the only self-aware creatures. I don't think that's entirely true. I think there are levels of awareness, self-awareness. So I won't get into the whole animal, the hierarchy of animals in terms of awareness. But when we become self-aware, we develop the ability to think, and um, thinking can be a great tool. It has allowed us to build, externally in ways that the animals are not able to do. It has allowed us to explore various forms of reason in a way that most animals are simply not capable of. But if we become absorbed in our thinking minds and everything we believe that we are, we become very, very invested in this. And because ego and the human body is inherently a part of time and space, and therefore it's temporary, it's inherently threatened, easily threatened. And this is really the basis for fear. The only way through this is to go back into your true self, reconnect with that, realize what you really are, and then you won't feel so threatened, so easily. You'll realize that everything that's happening in this world is just happening on the surface. If you consider the ocean, for instance, you realize that all the tumultuous activity that occurs on the surface of the ocean is not does not affect the depths of the ocean, which is by far the vast majority of what makes up our seas. There's no comparison. So we only see, as human beings, as bodies, as personalities, as egos, what's going on the surface of life. We don't see, or in our ordinary day-to-day existence, what goes on below the surface of what we are. This is why I urge everybody to meditate regularly. And regularly doesn't mean a long time, but spend at least a few minutes in the morning and a few minutes at night before bed, just checking in with that space. And gradually that space will expand, and you'll begin to feel such attraction to it that you'll want to meditate more and more. And even when you're not meditating specifically, you'll find that your mind is in that space, and you'll be walking around dealing with your daily activities, and you'll find yourself suddenly quite present and enjoying it, and you'll never want it to end. So begin small and explore that inner space that I'm discussing. And as you do, and as that deepens, your sense of fear will lessen. You'll realize, I am an eternal being. I'm not this little tiny speck of space dust, destined to live a tiny little life that ends in death and pain. That's just not what you are. So explore those inner spaces, people. Absolutely, go for it. That's freedom.
Mm. Do you have any guided meditations that you sell on your website? Because as you're talking about the ocean, I'm just immediately feeling so much more calm. And my boyfriend was like running out the door before we started, and things were a little bit frantic. So I could totally feel the difference of like, oh, just.
Yeah. I don't have any currently, and that's something that's been on my to-do list. But as you pointed out, there are so many things to get done, and it hasn't happened yet, but it will soon. So stay tuned. And there's actually on my homepage, my welcome page, there is a little box people can sign up for my emails. And when I do get that up and running, I definitely will send out an email blast and let people know it's there.
Okay, so that is TobinBlake.com, and Tobin is spelled Tobin. And we are speaking with the author right now, The Healing of Jordan Young, a 21st century spiritual guide to health and healing. If you're watching this on YouTube, I will post a link in the description below to Tobin's website, or if you're listening on the radio, then you'll have to look it up, tobinblake.com.